Hello everybody, welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time here. If so, I can get you caught up real quick. My wife and I are working on a game right now in the early prototype stages, although she's been working on it for a while, kind of planning it out. I started helping her out with some of the development maybe 2 months ago, and we're using our own game engine to write it in C++, just for fun. And today we're going to have another bug hunting stream. Right now you can't leave a game. I have a button that says leave game. It doesn't leave the game. So we got to fix that. And I'm about 95% sure once we fix that there'll be other issues because we've never been able to leave a game. So let's take a look at where we are. It doesn't really matter if you're in a single player or a multiplayer game. If I click my leave game button, we get a message that says we disconnected from the game. But we appear to still be in the game. That's about as far as I've gotten looking at this. So this, let's see what happens here. This is the function that gets called. I believe, is it disconnect or leave? Yeah, I changed it to disconnect. So we disconnect from the game and we clear out our game instance. And that's presumably why we get the log message. Who logged that? But we're like stuck in the game still. We should be back at the main menu, which is probably, yeah, it's probably because we don't fire any kind of event to change the scene. But I guess I don't really know. No, it should be in here. I kind of expect the same thing happens right here. You know, I didn't try it from here before. Does this succeed? Okay, if we leave game from like the main scene, we don't leave, but we assert. If we leave while we're in the class selection scene, probably because we destroyed that instance, but we're still in the scene. So this is our guy that changes the scene. He does it based on a game phase update event. So we're not doing anything like that. That would be probably a good thing to do. But in order to do that, we need the game events. No, not main menu UI. In-game menu UI. You call us. So if we just take in the game events, we could fire that here. And we would do something like on we use game events in here, don't we? Do we just pass it along? Okay. Where are you? Game events? Game events. Okay. Now what is my event name? On update phase. And I think we have an abandon thing. We'll want to do that same thing if we leave a game. Oh, wow, let's come back to that. So there's different concepts. If you leave a game, you're kind of done with it for good and you can't rejoin. But we also have the ability to just disconnect and persist like the server information so you can reconnect in the future. And I want to do this one because that's useful for development, for testing things. Otherwise, testing, rejoining a game, you have to like close the whole application and relaunch it. Hey, Legend. How are you? Hey, Shadowglass. What game are we making? The working title is Oath of Umbra. It's a thing, an idea my wife has been working on for a while. And it's the general idea, it's a deck builder, like a multiplayer deck builder. But the concept is to take some of the vibe from like vintage CRPG fantasy games and try to compress all that into like a fast-paced deck builder. So you kind of level up like you would in an RPG, but do so by playing your cards. There's like a skill tree, and that's how you get your cards, that kind of thing. Right now, I don't know when you joined. I just saw your message now, but there's not a whole lot to show right now. Just trying to get stuff working. But there you have it. What was I doing? Okay, yeah, so we need to get the game events in here so we can abandon that. Abandon the game and tell people that we're going to do so. In here you don't have the game events, but I think I can weasel it out of here. Yeah, when we go to leave game, close, we need like MC engine. You know what it was called? What do we call it? MC. Oh, it's a reference. Thanks, Legend. All right. So what we want to do, game events are in this app thing. And the app is a module, so we can just get that out of the engine. And I don't know, maybe we'll just store the game events in here in the future. I think this whole menu dialogue thing is just copy-pasted from a different game. Might not be following the same structure we're doing elsewhere. But I just want it to work for now. What are we doing here? Now we're getting the app. We probably don't know about the app in here. And then we can just do, that's gotta work, doesn't it? Okay, we forward declare the engine. No, we know about the engine. Is this a pointer? That's a pointer. Okay. And then once we have that, we can say app get game events. You know about the game events. We send our event. Shadowclaw asks, what graphics API are you using? It uses just Vulkan, but so this is a game engine my wife and I built. And originally, my wife built a whole Vulkan layer just from scratch. And like, I don't remember now, maybe a year, 2 years ago, we switched over to an abstraction layer called Diligent. And Diligent lets you target kind of anything. Maybe not anything, but lots of things. But we still only use Vulkan. It just simplified a lot of things. Trying to make a game engine and the renderer and games and things with just 2 people part-time is too much time. So we had to simplify some things. Oh, look at that. Okay, so that guy does it inside of here now. So we can just do game events. See if it makes that exact same call. All right. Kind of expect, well, let's attach our debugger, but I kind of think that'll work for the single player. I don't know, let's see. Okay, we crashed if we left from this scene before. I don't need my breakpoints anymore. Okay, and we're back. And we're in. I should be able to do this over and over. What? Ooh, wait a second. Do you think something funny is happening there? Maybe? Nah, maybe I left-clicked accidentally. All right, and let's try from here. Okay, that seems to work for single player. Thanks. It gives me a little software engineer vibe. What do you mean? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? It sounds like a good thing. Okay, well, let's try it with multiplayer, not Steam, Sandboxy. We'll get a client running here too. This is where I think things will be much more broken. Okay. I mean, it kind of makes sense that it would give you a software engineer vibe. Both my wife and I have just been doing game dev as a hobby for quite a long time, but both have done software development outside of that professionally. So it's only natural. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's all there is to it, is to keep learning. Do you like C++? And there are lots of languages that you can use. Personally, C++ is my favorite language to work in, even though it can be a pain. I think really I found that like the process of learning C++ taught me a lot more about other things, like just general software engineering principles and computer architecture, and I appreciate it for that. And I've worked on a lot of fun things in C++. All right. We have a second thing here. Oh, I gotta... I'm just gonna copy the whole thing. I don't know what the... I talked about this on a previous stream, but to do the multiplayer testing, I have this program, Sandboxy, which lets you make little sandbox applications on your PC, and that is helpful for running multiple instances of Steam. Otherwise, they clash with each other, and it's hard to log in with like multiple accounts. So you just have two versions of Steam here, one in a sandbox and one normal. And then basically you just copy the executable from one to the other. And there you go. You can test multiplayer. All right, we'll make a lobby. We'll join a lobby. Okay, now I guess there's a couple of flows to test. The easiest thing, if we start a bot game, and then let's get all the way into the game. And you leave the game. What are you? That's the client. So this guy on the left is running like a local host server and a local client, and this guy's running a remote client. Remote client left, and we're seemingly okay. And this guy, he picked up that disconnection, put a bot on there, and the game's, yeah, timed out that phase on him and moved on. It seems okay. I want to test rejoining. Well, let's try it. Yeah, okay. So there's a bug with rejoin, but there's some other flows to test there too. Okay, maybe I keep track of things. That's an old thing. Rejoin busted. What else is busted? We should test leaving from the class selection menu or scene as well. Create a lobby. Start bot game, and we'll have this remote client leave again. Okay. You seem fine again. Did you... It took a second to pick it up, but he did... Hold on, is that right? So... Start game, player 1. Okay, so we prompted that player first. It auto-picked for him because the phase timed out, and then we picked up the disconnection. I feel like the disconnection could come through faster. Maybe there's a way we can like what do I want to say here? Well, how about this? Can we flush client messages in destructor? Seems like when we leave, the server is timing out on us leaving rather than getting like a message that we quit. So maybe we could send something to make that faster. It's not a big deal, but can I just make a normal game? Yeah. Okay, so leaving from that menu seems okay. I guess what if the host leaves the game? Let's see here. Who's who? Doesn't really matter. Is it running on a single thread? Right now, so the engine uses a task graph. So not everything is running on a single thread. The server and client run back to back at the moment, although I don't think there's any need for that. They don't share any state whatsoever. The server is such that you can just take it out and put it in like an executable, and it's a standalone or a dedicated server. So it doesn't touch any external state. I just have not bothered doing any optimization right now. What was I going to do? I was going to test the server leaving. That guy. Oh, no. What am I doing here? Join a lobby. Okay. Falling apart. Okay, let's jump in here. And what does the client think? We don't know about it, but we do time out. Okay. We just like create a lobby, start another game. Okay, so both the like same for server. Oh, no problem. Thanks for asking. Rejoin is busted. Everything else seems okay. Now, one thing that's broken for sure is if we do like parties. Let's try. But I don't think we can fix this right now. So right now you can, say we go to multiplayer. I can invite this other account. And we will launch. Okay, now we're in a party together. And if we create a lobby, we're both automatically in the lobby and start. Now this is for sure gonna, well, what happens? It's gonna be bad. I'll leave the game. That's fine. But you're gonna know about it. The mechanics for the game are exactly the same, but I don't have any way to leave the party. There's nothing implemented. So I'm perma-trapped doing nothing. So I don't even have, that's like a whole separate thing. Well, I mean, what happens here? I guess their parties are still connected, and just the party member can't do anything without closing the application. But I don't think that's fixable right now. So I guess rejoin is what we need to focus on. Did we crash when we tried to rejoin? What happens there? Okay, we will attach our debug. Oh, I know, I didn't select anything. Attach the debugger to the instance in the sandbox. I have a game for rejoin right now. Okay. Oh, you're like on a breakpoint. I don't. Okay, just get rid of breakpoints. Okay. We can pick some stuff. Now. Oh yeah, rejoin. We are. Trying to spawn enemies. Where's my log here? Okay, so this is like a, when we rejoined, the server sent us a bunch of commands to get caught up. Connections. Those are the class selections that were made. What happens? Okay, then we go to player turn start. We spawn enemy wave for player 0, which is the server. Enemy wave 1 is us. Okay. Update phase, player turn start. And we, which thing is missing here? Have some null entity. It's just like a, oh, we just assert. Okay. Our entity isn't valid. Okay, then we just have to look at who sets that entity then. Onload game scene sets our entity with, should be from like here. So we load that main game scene after we've selected our class. And I just added this very recently, didn't I? Yeah, right here. Make our camera. Okay. Well, let's try it again with a breakpoint in there. Actually, I don't have to attach yet. We don't really care about that breakpoint until we're rejoining. Create a lobby. We just jump on in. We leave. We'll reattach to that guy. We should hit that breakpoint. We don't. We get in. We're firing this before we ever load the scene that makes those objects. Why? What does our log look like? Update phase player turn start. Should go in load. Should move us from the class selection scene into this little view. And when we're doing that, we should set the entity that we're trying to use here. But we are in here before this is happening. And type spawn wave. Interesting, the commands were processed in the right order. But like this didn't do the thing. This did not load our scene. Okay, why didn't it load our scene? That would happen right in here. Okay, so let's double check what happens in the command processor there. On update phase, pull that guy out. We logged that. Update the phase in the manager, and then we call this event. This guy is for sure responding to that event, otherwise nothing would work. Possible, or like a stale phase in there. Well, I don't think that could be true. That logic's right. Current phase, put in that one, pull out the last one. There's no way we're an enemy turn end. Oh. Oh. Oh, we're calling this, I see. Okay, so the way that scene changes work in the engine is they're queued. And you have to like schedule the change for the future so that you don't like pull the rug out from some other thread that's running. Like if I'm over here processing game state, and then over here I want to change the scene, I might totally obliterate that game state. So you queue the scene change, and then at some point in the future, the engine will see that has been queued, and once all the workers have stopped, or at least the ones accessing that stuff, it'll move it over. But what we're doing here is we're just taking a giant batch of commands from the server and just running through all of them. That involves multiple scene changes, and we're queuing. What would happen there? Like we're doing a bunch of stuff, but we're not giving time for the scene changes to happen. And then eventually we get down to spawn wave, which expects we've moved the scene. Okay. How do I verify that's what we're doing? So, update phase. What if I just return out of here? Why am I always using auto for variables and function return type? There's an article by a gentleman named Herb Sutter called Almost Always Auto that goes into all the arguments. But at this point, it's just because it's what I'm used to. It was the standard practice at work. There are some places where auto has to be used to capture the type because you cannot name it yourself. And there are also some type places where like you get absurd, like, you know, I don't know. Actually, that's not even that crazy. You get absurd type names. Like if I have a std vector of std unique pointer of int, and I want an iterator to that, like I don't know. I just don't care. But auto cleans that up. And I find I never need to see the type here. It's just not useful. What is useful is to mouse over things and see the return type. I don't know. You're currently compiling NC Engine. Good luck. It should work just fine. Okay, so what I want to do, this guy's called inside of something called game client, I think. Right? And we tick. And we'll do this once every frame. Get all the new commands, stash them in there, and then call command processor. What we need to do is if one of those commands wants to change the scene, we need to get out of here, stop processing commands, and then pick up where we left off. So we're caching them, we can do that. We just need to, it's an easy way to test that. Instead of break, we will return. Who? This function's getting long. Okay, so right now we're not expecting any partial execution, although that is a thing that I kind of planned for. We're just expecting we're going to get all the way through and then clear this out. So if we return, we're not clearing anything. We don't want to clear. We want to erase up to this point. Oh, it's the okay, I just want to verify I'm right about this. So let's just do like I command for now. We'll enumerate those. If we hit here, we know how many we've done. Not here. Here. Not M commands. Commands. Erase from I. Is that I plus 1? Ooh, off by 1 errors. It's got to be, I mean, if, yeah, because end isn't included, it's got to be. Right? Well, it should be pretty obvious if that's wrong. Right. It is somewhat syntax sugar. There are legitimate cases where you have to use auto as the return type. Like, if I want to do, I mean, there are not many of them, but if I want like, I don't know, I want to make some lambda. Like, this thing has a type name, but it is only known to the compiler, and you can only capture it by something that the compiler fills out. There are cases in generic code where like using auto or decal type auto as your return type is necessary for genericity, if that's the right word. Oh, no problem. I tell you what, man, off by one errors are probably the thing that kill most people, but they get me. So, okay, I think this should work now. Let's see. Let's see what happens. All right, we need to create a lobby, join a lobby, start a game. Boop, boop. We're in. Leave game. Rejoin game. Ooh. I didn't attach the debugger. We're very unhappy about that. That's gotta be right. All right, we'll just throw the debugger on it this time. Yes, Legend, it does not support Mac. We went down that road, and we were close, but getting Vulkan support on the Mac with our previous renderer was just not happening. It was too big of a time investment. And we haven't tried, I don't know what the situation is for Mac support on with Diligent, the new abstraction layer, but yeah, it will not work on Mac. Sorry about that. Yeah, right, Gandalf. The lambda has to be auto. Create a lobby. Whose turn? Your turn, your turn. Okay. What was that? Attached to the sandbox one. Say what? What? Hey, Monsi. Molten VK does work for Mac, and it might be entirely possible. Let me think about that. So the Vulkan stuff should, I don't know, but should work now. It was prior to us using Diligent, we were using things, and this is like 3 or 4 years ago now, we were using things that we could not get working on Molten VK. The feature support for that wasn't, it just didn't have the things that we needed. That might not be true anymore, but I don't know that we have time ourselves to look into it. Other than that, I don't think Apple Clang, at least at the time, wasn't up to date, but I was able to get it working with just regular Clang, which is kind of annoying. I prefer to use Apple Clang, but I don't think we're using Vulkan 1.4. That would be, I don't even know. Where would I find that? It's probably, it's going to be 1.2 or 1.3. That would be a question for Jer. I don't know how to find that easily. It would be over in the engine somewhere. But there's no way we're using 1.4 yet. Gandalf, my wife, Jer, would be the person to talk to about the renderer. She does all of the work there. She streams on here kind of every other day. She'll probably stream again What day is it? Friday night. She usually is on about 8 or so. 8 p.m. Well, 8 p.m. Central. Whatever that might be for you. Hey, Zeno. Our stack, what are you curious about in particular? We're using our own game engine that's mostly, pretty much entirely C++. The renderer uses Vulkan, but is based on Diligent Engine. Compiler's MSVC. We technically support some Linux flavors and Windows, but we're mostly focused on Windows these days. We're using C++ 23. We're using the Steam, what is it even called? Steamworks API for networking now. We switched over from eNet. Hey, Basil. Graduated as a game developer 4 months ago, and it's so hard to find a job. I believe that. I can't tell you if it's worth it to switch careers. That's a call you got to make for yourself. I do agree, it doesn't look... Well, it depends where you are in the world, I suppose. But I expect globally it's tough for people, and I expect that's probably going to get harder. And I don't know what the future looks like. What features do we use from C++ 23? I don't even know. I know there's some of the... Let's take a look. 23 features. Let's go to CPP reference and see. We use a little bit of deducing this, or the explicit object parameter. I don't think this is critical, but I have used it. Some of like the views and the ranges, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think like zip and enumerate maybe weren't added until 23, and I use those a lot. That might be about it. I actually don't know. I wonder if this affected anything, or if that was just a... And I think we depend on this, but I believe that was working prior to this. Unless I'm misunderstanding what that means. Expected. Span stream I have used once or twice, although it's probably not critical. Ooh, move only function. I like that. I don't know, some things here and there. It's probably not critical. CS grads are cooked. That might be true. Though a lot of grads might be cooked in the near future. Yeah, I know, Basil. There are a tremendous number of layoffs happening right now. What was I even doing here? Where am I? We are... Hold on. I completely lost my train of thought here. What's our main thread doing right now? No idea. Alright. Not gonna be bad for some reason. Oh. I'm almost... Every time I do this, I say I gotta fix it, but it's the... almost certainly this manual step of copying things over. That'll get you. Hey, thanks, Legend. Have a good night. Be in there. Where are we stop in there. Pause on exception. Paused on exception inside of Steam Client 64. I don't think that's where we were before. There's no way I'm getting any kind of symbols out of here, right? That is not my thread. So it's not something I immediately did. What is our main thread doing? Wait for? What are we waiting on? We're just waiting on the task graph. We're waiting. Any of our threads doing anything? Okay. Where are we now? But where? Wait, what? Oh. Oh. Oh, it let us through. Whatever that was didn't actually crash us. Steam Client 64 DLL thread. And we were receiving messages on some other thread, but we're totally fine. Why are we? We're fine until we get to UI. Why is this not okay? Oh, it's because we timed out because we were sitting in a debugger. Right. Say what? Okay. That's interesting. Is there a way? Steam. Okay. All right. We're gonna see. So now, okay, we did crash there. I'm curious about that. Crash from the Steam client. What was it even called? Steam. Let's see. No, it wasn't a crash. Exception from Steam DLL. Yeah. Come back and see if we can get some like debug messages, because if we're doing something wrong, it did not notify us in the thread that we did it from. So maybe we can get some debug message out of there, but it didn't actually crash us. We crashed in our own thing because we timed out in here. So from client rejoin in class selection scene. I think that's how we got there. Very strange. Oh, did I do the wrong one? No, don't start a bot game. Something is still wrong with our rejoin here. Let's see. You over here. Rejoin. Okay. Queuing scene. What are we doing here? I kind of just want to update phase. And the phase. Oh. This. We do it again. Okay. We keep timing out. I have to figure something out for that. For the Mosey says Space War elite name. For those not in the know, Space War is like the, if you're doing Steam development, you can, it's like a sample app, and you can just plug your app in there and do testing. We do have our own app ID, we just haven't hooked it up yet. This works just fine. Also, if you Space War, if you look real close in the top left corner, there's a, oh, it's not even there right now. Why not? There's a hat, it's supposed to be a hat icon from a, here it is. You're gonna relaunch through Steam? Yeah. A little hat icon from a previous game my wife was working on about making hats. It was a cozy game. We haven't changed it yet. It's all kinds of things. I'm running into trouble because if I sit in the debugger for too long, I seem to time out and then crash right here. And I don't think that's really our issue. Maybe that is an issue in and of itself. Oh, hey there. Joseph. How are you? Things are going reasonably well here. We've made some progress, but now just continuing to hunt bugs. Every time you play a cozy game, it turns into a horror RPG. Yeah, I don't know that I don't think I've ever gotten into a cozy game myself. At least none come to mind. Although I really don't play that many video games anymore. What are we doing here? Pick a class, you pick a class. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of my breakpoints. Oh yeah, I know. Process not selected. We're gonna see if we crash at some other point, because that crash from the Steam, the other Steam thread didn't take us down. I think we're going down somewhere else, and maybe it is just here every time. But I need the debugger to get past that before we time out on the server, because we're paused. So I'm just gonna let her go. All right, rejoin. Oh. Say what? Huh? Oh, that just worked that time. Did it work that time? Oh, I'm very confused. Let's just try again. Oh, What was broken before? Oh, I don't like this. I don't know, let's try again. Is it just an issue that I'm blocking in a debugger and we're timing out and that's not behaving well? Because this seems totally fine. You should time out and go back. I don't know. That seems fine. What if we try to rejoin now? Game's dead and we should not be able to join. We should probably know quicker than this, though. Hey, Darius. Sino's making a DirectX 11 portfolio. Any advice on what to add to impress interviewers? I don't know. Is there anybody in chat that has a better idea on what would impress somebody more involved in graphics? I generally don't have a lot of knowledge about graphics. Almost none, actually. Okay, we're like definitely stuck there, which is a separate thing. But okay, so we'll keep an eye on this. But what we actually did to fix this was not the right move. There's a better way to do this, and this is actually a problem. Okay, what was happening? We went to rejoin a game. The server spat us out a whole bunch of commands, and we just went and processed all of them. But some of those commands could not fully complete. Like they have scheduling concerns. So what we want to do is allow partial execution, which is a problem I had thought about, but never really did anything with. So we're just early outing of here, but I had this guy, a command barrier, or maybe it would be more of a latch, but it's called a barrier for now, where if somebody, when reacting to a command, knows that they don't want the next command to be processed yet, they can block other things. We're just not doing anything with it. And I think this is maybe the first time we need to do something with it. So, and actually I didn't really like the way this is taken from a different game where things were a little bit different. What I want to be able to do, let's see, where's our game events? In this event, I want to put something in here that lets a subscriber, or like an event listener, stop execution of the command processor until they release their thing. So really, it's kind of a barrier, but we're not necessarily waiting on it. We kind of are. I'm going to call it the same thing, but we want like yeah, previously how this would work is you knew how many people you were waiting on, and you would just initialize it to that, and then they would all arrive. I don't think we're using this anywhere in this game right now. What we want is, we don't know how many people are going to block on this. We don't just want like an increment thing, because then people are grabbing. Okay, all right. Utility, maybe? No, type? Where is this at? Stable address. A command barrier needs to have a stable address, and then have like I don't know, maybe I'll change the name from barrier to something that makes more sense. We're gonna stick with it for now. I'll have some kind of token that just like acquires and releases on the barrier, and we'll pass that probably eventually everywhere. Maybe we'll put it in the context, maybe. Okay, so we'll want like a... we need to know about this. We'll get there. Command barrier is a class. And then we want this. We basically just want like the unique RAII type. So we'll do, the way I always do that is no, that can be public. Some kind of release function that says if, and then we've got a, yeah, okay. This has to be forward declared because this guy's going to return a version of it, and then we'll define that out of the body. But we need like a move constructor. Oh, holy cow. Need a move assignment operator. The signature for that? It's gotta be. No, it's not. I'm missing that. Okay, and then for move assignment, you gotta if you gotta self-check if this the address of other if you're not the same thing, Release your own count. Take ownership of theirs. Null them out. And then in either case, release that. Okay. No copy operations. Just doing this. No copy operations. I typed the word barrier so many times it was losing its meaning. We release. And then release has to do something. Release says if we have our pointer, we will arrive at the barrier. And then reset seems like a dangerous function. Acquire. Right. And this is in the NC namespace. Oh, this is a pointer, of course. Oh, hey, Zeno, we're kind of making this in our own engine just for fun, for learning, because we want to. I don't have a better reason for that. There's nothing about the game that requires a custom engine. We just want to. Oh, yeah. Yep. Thank you. Blurry. C++ is amazing. What do you mean? Okay. So now if we dump one of these guys into our context, I think I want to delete that function. Like I said, this class came from a different game that had slightly different requirements, so we can change it as much as we need. Zero, I don't know. Actually, no. We probably need to do that. We do not want to do that anymore. Yeah, I hate this. Probably increment before we make the barrier rather than doing it in the constructor. Right? Is waiting. I wonder if we have tests for that broke. Probably. Okay, we don't. Now I think where is that guy? Where does he live? Client command barrier. And then every time the command processor makes its little context thing, we'll put that in there. And for now, I want to put this in like most of the events, because there's a lot of times I imagine we want to defer things. But for now, and then it can't be. Is that fine? If we make this const, that's it doesn't have to be const. Just make everything inside of it const. So we want a game event context here, and that's going to break a bunch of stuff. But really, we want this guy even without the barrier in pretty much all of these, because this local player is like, you always want to know who the local player is when you're responding to things, because you get events for every player. And you often want to do different things. Scene manager. I'm probably just going to have to type that a bunch of times. At least more than once. This does become weird. I don't really want to be pulling the context out. So we need that game event context in here, which requires a couple of things, but it requires that barrier, which is really only a concern in here. I suspect that only is true when we're like leaving a game. What are we thinking here? Base abandoned. You know, I never liked that we did things this way. Or whenever, if you leave a game, you notify all of the systems by updating the game phase to abandon. What if we just make a new event? And that particular event does not take the context, because it's like a we're leaving the game event. Context is no longer relevant. Just clean yourself up. And then we don't need the command barrier here to call this. That's the move. There's not that many places we're doing that. Okay. So we need a new thing. We get nothing on leave game. And then you will call on leave game instead of that. This should happen right here too. And then we're going to totally get rid of game phase abandoned because that was never a legitimate game phase to begin with. That was like a special case. There's no such thing as a game phase abandoned. That just means close yourself. So then anybody, are you the only person, other person using this? That would be kind of slick. Then, oh, that's why we did it, because this guy responds to that event, but he can respond to both. He was connected to the update phase event to change the scenes. When you leave a game, we want to change the scene back to here. That's why that was done that way. But we'll just add a connection to that other event. Do the same thing, that's fine. On leave game connection. Oops. I guess. Oh, those are not. Function yet on leave game, and then we'll need a, that takes nothing. And on leave game we do this. Probably be resetting that anyway. We will just unconditionally move to the main menu. This doesn't exist anymore. Phase, leave game. Ah, this goes up here. Yeah, it's blurry. I totally agree. It's like moving between different code bases in C++ or different teams can be highly confusing, or different standards. If you maybe all of a sudden go back to like a C++ 98 code base, they're still around. It's like, what is happening? Or if you come from a C++ 98 code base, which one of my past coworkers did, into a modern one, it's like a new thing. I think there's way too much going on. But once you get into like your own swing, I find it to be pretty sensible. It's when you leave your comfort zone. What did I do here? There's a trailing comma and a missing comma. Right. There are many ways. I think there's a saying, it's like, they'll give you a million ways to shoot yourself in the foot. Is the essence of C++. Oh, I never took game. Okay, that's why. But to do that as well. Yeah, and then we gotta pass the thing in here, CTX. Right. Right there it is. Exchange. Believe is in utility. Include. Hey there. When are we going to see a duo live stream? When my wife and I have free time at the same time. Maybe sometime. I don't know what we would do. Just chat, probably. Unless there's a problem we both want to work on. But usually, like, our total free time is like nothing. The only reason I'm able to get things done is because I can't sleep. So I wake up at ungodly hours in the morning and have nothing to do. So why not sit and program a little bit? But she's got to sleep. People need sleep other than me, apparently. But I don't know, someday. If we have free time. I'm sure we will at some point. It is just a matter of getting some free time. We also have a 3, almost 4-year-old son. So it's like, that also sucks up a lot of time. In a good way, but can't really pull off a duo live stream in that scenario. Oh, we never do anything with it. Okay, so now we can do something with this. And the thing we want to do... we want to take... What do I call this thing? No. Alright. Name to be determined. It's called a barrier token, I think. Isn't it? Yeah. Whatever. I don't know about that. But we want to hold on to one of those. And what we want to do, problem we're trying to solve, is we want to bail out of command processing when we do this, but we don't want to do it in here. We want to do it at the place where we know what needs to happen and we can hook into when it does happen. So we'll have a barrier token. That'll be nothing initially. If we're gonna change the scene, now we know this is a scheduled event. We do not want to do anything until we're actually in that scene. Barrier token, GTX, barrier, acquire. Now we're cooking. So now we have the token. command execution will stop there. We'll schedule this. And the way we know that has finished, we don't have any clever way to do it here, do we? I don't think so. Let's see, scene. Guess it's scheduled. Load queued scene. Yeah, we definitely don't want to do this. But what we could do, there's a way to hook into this just from the engine. Put this up here. Let's see, on the for scene load. And what we want to do, we just want to release that token anytime we load a scene, because we're going to take the token anytime we schedule it and anytime this happens. So I guess if we leave a game, we also want to do this, right? If we leave a game, we should release that in case we have one. Right. And then the way we get that hooked up on phase. What don't you like about that? Current phase. Okay. The way we hook that up is in app through the module interface. There's a little function we can override to get called every time we're about to load a scene. I think it actually takes or has some arguments to it. Okay. We don't care about the arguments, but they're there. So the engine will call that guy, and then this guy just needs to call our scene manager. Why I went to, like, my spaces change. What is that? This happens to me every once in a while, where my spaces change from 4 to 2. Does anybody know why that would be? There's some hotkey. Hey there, 80K CPP. Neither of us are doing it full time. We're both trying to work on it every day with the time that we have, but that probably amounts to at most 2 hours a day a piece, if that. It'd be neat if we could do it full time, but we're not there yet. Scene. What are we unhappy with? What don't you like there? NC scene. It's gotta be it. Illegal escape sequence. Because so I don't think that's everything we need, but that at least gets the function called. So you have your barrier token. If let's fix this first. A linker error in... What are we building here? App on before C load. Wait, what? We're just building the full application and we don't have that? Did I? On before C load. I can understand if that was in a test or something, but that's just right there. Maybe I didn't save the file. Unupdated phase. Okay. We'll put a... Oh. We need a game state and a thing in there. Okay. Barrier. Just need the context in here. I think this should all be default constructible except the context, which is above game events. We'll keep that null for now. I don't think we care about it in there, but we can break a test if we need it. Oh, that's... Each one of those gets our context. Right? Does not take one argument. Not giving it one argument. I have a habit of not waiting for the build to finish before I start saving files. I think that might be what's happening. Okay, we're almost there. You take the barrier, you release it when you leave the game, you release it every time we load a scene, which would let things go on, but we're not really respecting the barrier here. What we would want to do is every time before we do anything, I don't really. Erase commands processed. So if at any point somebody blocks us, we'll just get out of there. Erase everything that has been done. Otherwise, we'll carry on. I guess. Instead of doing this, I don't know if that's right though. I think that's bad. I think there's a bug here. We want to do this differently. If I come through, if I'm already blocked and I come through and my eye is 0, I'm waiting, I'm going to hit that. Maybe we just want to, we could do this at the end. If we just count how many have been processed and then just erase at the very end. Ooh, but then we don't want to return. Okay. Bugged. We'll make sure that this is right. We don't want to return anymore. We want to break. This function's getting too long. Okay. I think instead of doing this, we want to say do you just want to bother with that? Yeah, we do. I haven't used this in a very long time. Into utilities, scope, exit. On scope exit, we want to do we're going to track the number processed, and anytime we leave the scope, we're just going to erase there. And that way, if we early return here or anywhere else, we'll always hit that code. Or if we just fall off the end, we'll always clean up however many we processed. Equals 0. Right. Although it's been a very long time. It's just the body, it grabs all the things. Why is it undefined? I don't think that's true. I actually don't know if erased is well behaved if you give it the same beginning and end. There we go. It really doesn't like my scope exit here though. Is that not what it wants me to do? Scope exit function line detail. Huh. You expand too. What? Man. There's nothing to do with that at all. Alright. But then we have to count that. Okay. We erase. As long as we don't block, we will process it. We're doing something with it. I know I don't really care about that anymore. Care about the ranges anymore. But I think I want to. We'll always increase. We'll process this no matter what. Even if we don't dispatch it, it is processed. That just means it does not concern us. What are the chances that works? I am the worst typer. Let's see. Oh, we ran. Who crashed? The server. What did we do? Phase player turn start. But this guy he didn't mind. He didn't mind because I didn't copy the file over? Oh, maybe he did. Okay. Player turn start. Let's just debug a single player game. Way too many arrivals. I have some, probably some bug in my move constructor or something of that one thing. Ooh, yeah, I mean, it's a bug in every single function in here. Barrier has to we have to null that out when we release it. Otherwise, we're infinitely arriving at the barriers all the time. Right? Null barrier. Move constructor, steal it from the other one. Put it into ours. Move assignment. Not the other one. Release our own first. Steal it from them. No copy. Okay. Oh, I still have the game running. That'll be a problem. I have about 12 minutes left. Let's see if I can finish this rejoin thing before then. Other things. There's some other things to clean up here. This is okay, but maybe we can do better. Just notify on a disconnect faster, so we don't have to wait for a timeout. And then something weird from a Steam thread, not one of our threads. I'll be happy if we can get leaving a game and rejoining all in one go working today. I will consider that success. Right now we just want to check this is all fine and looks good. Okay. So then let's actually test the rejoin thing. If the normal commands are looking good, you will host the game this time because debugger's over here. Start the game. Hey, we're back in. We have our enemies up there. What do you say for your logs here? Let's see, you are... Yeah, this is the server logs. Where did we leave? This is the one I care about, actually. Okay. That's where we disconnected from. Found our reconnection. Connecting. Do. Phase class selection. Yeah, so every call to command processor process should be preceded by one of these, because every time we hit this, okay, we're processing, we get up to the point where we update phase. Now our scene manager blocks us there. Should return, the engine runs, yada yada yada. The scene is transitioned, and then the next time the game client runs, we get back in here and we can continue, do our class selection, which is all good, but then we hit update phase again, which is going to change the scene to this one. We do not process any more commands. The engine runs, scene changes. Next tick, we're back in here. We spawn the enemies. And there we go. I guess a bunch of time passes. The server times us out on our equipment choices because we don't have the ability to make a choice right now. Another phase update, and then we are blocked on the player turn. I'm going to call that a success. That one's done, at the very least. Rejoin when the server's down is busted. I wonder if we can figure that out. Why is that a problem? Maybe that's not a hard one to fix. How do we even... I don't know where to start for that one. Where would we detect a problem? Be like... Let's just take a look. Which one are you? Are you? Okay. Alright. You can leave, and now the server leaves, and you try to rejoin right away. What do we do? Connecting with PTP. Connection status changed to 1. Oh. No, that's what we expect. Oh. Oh, we just leave the text is stale. We are... Oh, like the UI is stale. We did detect that we... Okay, timed out, attempting to connect. Abnormal exit, disconnect from game. Just our UI state is bad. Okay. Okay. Now, what do we need to hook into there? Like main menu controller. I did work on this stuff in a past stream, and I thought there was a... Did we never leave the main menu? So we didn't call this function. Maybe. Is that what happened there? If we try to do that... Do you have any network connections or anything we can hook into? Do you know about the network events? On lobby. Yeah, I don't think we ever left the main menu, so we don't re-enter. So all of this stays exactly the way it was. And that would be true if like any of these failed, right? Rejoin game. Maybe we should be resetting that state. If this gives us a success, if the instance manager thinks we can join the game, we should just reset our state there instead of waiting until we come back to the main menu. Okay. For now, I think we don't want to do this at that point. But I do want to reset those things. Maybe we'll test if this fixes it and then decide what we want to do as a permanent solution. Oh wait. Oh no, we can't do that. That's a silly idea. Because we depend on this. That's a thinker. That doesn't work. I'm also still running the game while trying to build again. I've got 1 minute left. I don't think I'll be able to figure this one out, but I'll think on it throughout the day here. What was going on there? It was stale UI state probably because we don't leave and re-enter the main menu. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. I'll see you guys next time.